walking around in her body being stupid while she was away in cloud cuckoo land. And that weren't magic. That were just this useless porridge between her ears going off. She'd gone around the bingo the other night, sitting down at tables where she didn't know anyone, asking where her sister was. That was what her son, or whatever he were called, that was what he'd told her. She couldn't believe she'd been there. She'd yelled at him, of course she bloody had. Postering, that was what she was doing now. She shouldn't yell at him. At Sean, that was his name. She should do what Lizzie and Autumn said, because they were the only ones she had now, the only ones who could understand enough to help her. That must be why she was here at this bloody notice board, because she'd finally got to the point in her life where she'd do things for whoever asked because she were desperate. Didn't deserve help. Not after the life she'd had. Oh God, she was frightened. She was more scared of this than of anything she'd faced down in the dark of the woods across all those years. Come on, you stupid woman. Look at this board. Do the job. What have you got here? Every inch of the notice board was taken up with posters and postcards, film shows at the Fincham Hall, yoga classes. The History Society had a talk about the Civil War. Baby bounce at the library, the festival in the next town, Northcote. She recalled now that she'd seen several of these posters on the previous notice boards she'd visited. Well done, Brain. Good effort, dear. Were any of these past their sell-by date? She realized she had no idea what day it was. She looked again at the poster she was meant to put up. It looked to be the final version, with all the attractions on it. The festival was in mid-September. She looked again in her bag and saw that she'd bought the Gazette. Or found it. If this was the current one, it was the week of September 3rd, which meant... No, all of these events on the posters were still to come. So, what to do? Well, the History Society seemed to get everywhere. They laminated their posters and stapled them to posts. They wouldn't miss one or two. Judith pulled out the bolts from the notice board, swung back the double glass doors, took the poster down, crumpled it up, and put it in her pocket. There still wasn't room to put up hers, though. Bloody Northcote had no business putting up posters for their festival in Lychford. It wasn't like the Lychford festival went over there and... Well, they might. Judith had no idea. But whatever, down it came. Still not quite enough room. The last person who'd posted here had arranged everything that was left with fiendish precision. The film show at the hall was Summit by Agatha Christie, and Judith hated Agatha Christie, so... Finally, she had space to pin up the festival poster. She did so, and triumphantly swung the doors closed again. Her festival poster was now half obliterated by the wooden edges of each of the glass doors where they met in the middle. Judith glared at the notice board. She'd had no idea this job was going to be so bloody awkward. This didn't seem like anything she'd normally be getting up to. Normally she'd be on those swings over there with her mum and dad. Where had they got to? Well, of course they'd be at home, wouldn't they? What? Of course not. Where had that come from? No, couldn't think about that, didn't make sense. She turned and looked over to the playing fields. They weren't there. She could see the old cottages that had stood there, one of them falling into the others, where its thatched roof had burned. Marie Higgs had lived there, and Alex Saul, who'd left to go into the Merchant Navy. After she'd finished here, she'd go and knock on his door and see if he could come out to play. She realized there was a weight behind her, an odd sort of weight. No, come on,